Sam, would you please stop asking my husband to withdraw such a large amount of money?
Good evening, Kumi. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? Large amount of money?
It's really no use pretending you don't know. I already know what you've been up to these days. You and your mother are taking way too much advantage of my husband. Well, I guess that my husband felt obligated to comply to your request as well, so I guess it can't be helped this time. But from now on, please refrain from doing that ever again.
Well, I still have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't think it's something that I have to explain to you, word for word. Just put a hand on your heart and take your time to think over what you've done. Think very carefully about living your life by sucking money out of my husband. Consider the shameful way of living in that way. Excuse me then.
Josh, I just arrived. Oh, hi, brother. I'm glad you and Mom got back into the country safely. You're coming back the day after, right? That's right. The medical conference in Germany will finish tomorrow, so I'll head home when that's over. But to think that you let us accompany you for your medical conference so that we could enjoy sightseeing. When I first heard about it, I was so surprised. We had promised to take a trip together, but I didn't imagine us making an overseas travel. I wasn't able to fulfill our promise since I've been busy, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that. I couldn't spend as much as I would have liked, though, with you and Mom since I had to work. But there was a travel guide who spoke Japanese, right? Did things work out okay? Oh, that was so helpful. Both Mom and I couldn't speak German at all. Although it was the first time going overseas, I didn't feel so anxious and really enjoyed the time there. Thanks to you. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, I just remembered. When you are back in the country, could we get together? Yeah, of course. Is something up? There's something I want to talk about. About Kumi. About Kumi? Oh, is it something you mentioned earlier? Yeah, recently things have been getting worse. It also seems like she's been troubling you as well. Also, the matter I had asked someone to look into, that's been confirmed as well. I see. I'm sorry to trouble you when you must be tired from the trip. No worries. Then I should get prepared for the conferences tomorrow, so I'll message you again later. Alright, thanks so much for the trip.
Sam, aren't you and your mother really not embarrassed at all to be leading parasitic lives on your younger brother's money? Why don't you at least use your own money for the trip to Germany?
What? Oh, it's been a long time, Kumi. What do you mean by leading parasitical lives?
Do I have to explain everything to you? I know that Josh is a doctor and has a pretty good sum of money, but aren't you ashamed that you're using your brother's money to go overseas? Especially now that your brother has his own family? Don't you have any pride as his older brother? Or so he says.
Is that what you were referring to the other day?
Did you realize that just now? I am so shocked.
Well, as we had no intention of asking for his money.
But my husband paid for everything this time, didn't he?
That is true, but that was a promise we had made between Josh and I since a long time ago.
Oh my God, that is just unbelievable. You're telling me that you planned to get money out of him even before your brother was a doctor? I know that he already showed much promise for his career, but isn't that a bit too much?
No, that's not quite right.
Then what is it?
It's a little difficult for me to explain. When our father passed away, I was a senior in high school, and Josh was still in junior high. Because of our circumstances, I didn't go to college and started working right away after I graduated from high school. At that point, Josh already had a dream of becoming a doctor, so my mother and I decided that we would support him as much as we could.
Oh, so what you're saying is, because you supported him back then, you want him to help you out now that he's become a doctor. Basically, you want him to pay you back now. That's the promise you made, right?
No, that isn't how it is. I usually make sure that Josh doesn't spend his money for us. As for the trip to Germany the other day, it is true that Josh paid for our trip, but this is something that Josh had been saying he wanted to when he was able to graduate from medical school, and he did graduate. So that's how the trip finally happened. So this time, it was something special for all of us.
Well, however you frame it, it still doesn't change the fact that you let Josh pay for all your travel expenses. And also when you rebuild your house into an apartment.
What? That has nothing to do with Josh.
Really, these are the instances when one can see how stingy poor people can be. Please refrain from coercing Josh to give you money from now on. Never, ever again. Actually, never contact him again.
What? That is a bit too much.
Josh is my husband. I am the only one who can spend his money freely because I am his wife. If something like this ever happens again, I will not forgive you.
Kumi, I am getting a divorce.
What?
I'm getting a divorce from you.
Josh, what are you saying? Is this something to say over a message? What is going on here? I have no idea why you're saying such a thing.
And will you still not understand if I tell you that I am with my brother now?
What? With Sam? You told me it was your day off and you turned down my suggestion that we go out together.
That was so that I could see my brother.
Can it be that your brother is asking for your money again?
What?
This is enough. I warned him never to take money from you ever again. To think that he would have the nerve to meet up with you to ask for more money? Josh, don't you think you've had enough with a brother who is so poor and miserable?
What are you talking about?
There is also that matter regarding the trip you took with your brother and your mother to Germany. Also, a few months ago, they rebuilt their house into an apartment building, remember? Then they moved into one of the rooms in their apartment building and your brother became the owner and your mother is living with him, right?
Oh, that's right. What about it, though?
What do you mean, what about it, though? Your brother ordered you to pay for that money to rebuild that house into an apartment building, didn't he?
What?
Listen, I would understand if you became the owner of that apartment building since you gave out the money for it and you let your brother and your mother live there. That would be fine. But the owner of that building is your brother. That means that the income from the apartment rent goes straight into your brother's pocket. That is absolutely nuts.
Kumi, what are you talking about? The money spent on rebuilding that house into an apartment building was paid out by my brother.
What?
I gave them just $500 as a gift. How on earth did you arrive at such a misunderstanding?
What? Well, since your father died, your mother only worked part-time and is now living on her pension. As for your brother, he quit his company a few years ago and he's living off your mother's pension, right? How could those two possibly pay for rebuilding a house? The only relative who could provide them the money would be you, since you earn enough money as a doctor.
My brother is making as much money as I am now. While he was working at his company, he had a side job. Now that he can earn a good-sized income from that side job, he decided to quit his company and concentrate on his side job, which means that he can work from home. You also have someone you know who works from home, right? Even though you knew someone who works from home, you automatically assumed that since my brother is spending most of his time at home, that he doesn't have a job. What you say is unacceptable. How absolutely thoughtless of you.
But your brother only graduated from high school, right? And the company he worked for was a very small-sized firm, no? How can someone like that manage to earn enough money as someone who works from home?
If there is something you're really good at doing and you can make it into a business, it's possible, depending on how hard you work for it. It would depend on the type of job, of course. Maybe one needs to get a license or a special training. As for my brother, he worked hard for it and made it work.
Then why didn't you tell me all of this before? You didn't tell me anything about the apartment building. You can't blame me for misunderstanding.
Listen, as for the plan to rebuild our house into an apartment building, that started way before we even started dating. As for the kind of work my brother is doing, I did mention it to you before.
What?
As for the trip to Germany the other day, I wanted to pay my brother and mother back for all the support they gave me when I was pursuing my dream of becoming a doctor. It's something that I offered them.
Well, support? Still, just because they helped you out a little bit over living expenses, paying for all the expenses for an overseas trip is too much.
My brother paid for 2/3 of my high school and medical school tuition.
What?
And 1/3 was from the insurance my father had for our education fee. But then my father died suddenly. My brother supported my mother, who was completely distraught. On top of that, he looked after me since I was a junior high school student at the time. And my brother was only 18 years old at the time. Just imagine what pressure he had at that time. To be honest, I don't think that taking him and mom for an overseas trip is not enough at all.
What? Are you still planning to give them money?
That is why I'm getting a divorce from you.
What?
You don't like it that I want to pay back my brother and my mother, right? But this is not so much that we have to lower our way of living.
What? But the trip to Germany? It's an overseas trip, so it's not just a matter of 500 or 1,000, right?
For that, I used the money that I had been saving up when I was still single. This is not something I should be blamed for at all.
But...
What is it with you, Kumi?
What? Me?
Do you think that I didn't notice anything?
What are you talking about?
The credit card that I gave you so that you can spend for our living expenses. You've used it to its maximum. Do you think I will continue to allow you to misuse the credit card like that?
But you told me you would let me be in charge of the household expenses.
I did tell you that I would ask you to handle our household expenses, but that did not mean that you could use the money freely. Let me tell you more. You think that I would tolerate you using the amount equal to my monthly income on your lover? Think again.
What?
Did you really think that I wouldn't notice anything? I can also see the credit card purchase history, you know. Things looked fishy, so I looked into it.
You were looking at the bill?
That is the so-called family credit card, so it's natural that I can also see the bill. To begin with, that money is withdrawn from my bank account, so if I didn't notice anything, that would be really funny, wouldn't it?
Oh, God.
Anyway, I hired a detective to find out if you really had a lover. I now have proof of it, so you can't deny it. I also can't forgive you for all the insults you said regarding my brother and mom. I'm divorcing you.
Wait.
What for?
What?
If you were telling me to wait on the divorce, I can't oblige.
Maybe we can talk over this.
As for that, we can do that through my lawyer.
A lawyer?
The contract for the apartment we are living in now is scheduled to be renewed in 2 months, so I decided not to renew it this time.
What?
I still have some things left in the apartment, so I will go back once. After I pack everything, I will be gone for good. I want you to get yourself out of the apartment as soon as possible.
What? Wait.
What do you mean, wait?
What? Well, that is...
If it has no meaning, it's just annoying.
Josh,
Please talk to my lawyer. Goodbye. A few hours after we exchanged messages, I headed over to my younger brother's place to move his things out. My brother's wife, Kumi, was not there. Well, it was good timing. I managed to get all of my brother's things out in that short amount of time. As for Kumi, it seems like she ran to her lover's place for help, and my brother has confirmed that fact. Her things had been sent, cash on delivery, and the lawyer also paid her a visit. A month later, everything was settled and the divorce was finalized. As for Kumi and her lover, they had to pay for the consolation money plus all the money they had spent together. It was a one-time payment. The amount came to $70,000. They had to take out a loan, but they couldn't ask for help from the relatives, so they got themselves into a fix. Now, they are living days of regret and hard work.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey, Allison! What the hell happened today? You were completely ignoring me at the office. Even when I ask you something work-related, you just sort of brush me off. But on our date a couple of nights ago, everything seemed fine. What's up? Did I do something wrong?
Oh, it's you, Mark. Before you ask if you did something wrong, isn't there something you want to tell me?
Huh?
You'll probably say, you have no such recollection or something, so I'm gonna just ask you straight out. Your family, they aren't really that well off, are they?
My family? Well, they're not super wealthy if that's what you're asking, but they're doing okay.
That's a lie right there.
Huh? Why do you say that?
We've been going out for about 3 months, right?
Yeah, I guess.
You've been to my apartment, but you never invited me to your place. I thought it was kind of strange.
I explained all that to you. I live at home. My siblings and their families live there too. It's not much of an environment for relaxation.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, an old beat-up house like that, with 3 families living there.
Huh? Old beat-up house?
I only saw it from the outside, but figured it had 2 bedrooms at most. I bet you don't even have your own room.
What is this all about?
Well, actually, after our date the other day, I followed you home.
You followed me home?
Then I saw you go into an old beat-up house.
Oh, I see. You saw that house.
Mark, I always saw you as some rich kid with impeccable manners. And you dressed nicely too. So I figured you were from some rich family.
So you're saying that's the reason you started going out with me?
Yeah, I guess that was the main reason. But then everything changed. What is that house? That old beat-up shack?
Well, it is over 60 years old.
Are you serious? And 3 families live there? That's really not normal. It's abnormal. But you know what? I can kinda understand it looking at you.
What part do you kinda understand?
Well, you are kinda tight-fisted with your money.
Do you think so?
Yeah! When we're on dates and special occasions, you'd pay, but other times you insist we go Dutch. And you always bring a sandwich or something from home.
Yeah, I do.
And you don't seem to know much about expensive restaurants.
Well, I'm not really into gourmet food.
See? That's what I mean. Suppose it's how you were brought up. Ever since I started going out with you, I get this strap for cash sort of feel permeating around you. Thought it was suspicious, and I followed you. The best way to really know someone is to see where they live, and that's what I say. And so I took one look at the dilapidated shack and I knew right away. So this seemingly refined and well-heeled guy was just putting on an act. But you showed your true colors. You were just a tacky, unsophisticated penny pincher. Bet if I check further, you'll probably be buried in debt.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we just have completely different values.
Let me ask you one more time. So, Allison, you started going out with me simply because you thought I had money. Is that right?
Yeah, you got that right. I'm really disappointed in myself. How could I have been so utterly duped? So that's the deal. Let's break up.
Okay, I get it. Guess there's no getting around it.
Huh? Giving up so easily? LOL.
I'm gonna be straight with you, Allison. I don't want to go out with a girl who's only after my money.
Oh, really? I can understand that. Living in an old dilapidated shack with your entire family tree, no money to your name, not a lot to write home about, LOL. Well, I'm also to blame. Didn't see through that window dressing. So very sorry, LOL.
I just ask that you maintain a proper business attitude at work. That's all I ask of you.
Yeah, gotcha, LOL. Hey, I just heard. You're going out with Audrey at HR.
What do you want? Thought I told you not to contact me unless it was for work.
Forget that. So, what about it? Is it true?
What's true?
Like I said, are you really going out with Audrey?
Yeah? What's it to you?
Are you serious? Oh my, I better tell Audrey all about you.
What are you talking about?
What do you think? About your house, that old dilapidated wreck, and your down-and-out penniless family.
That again?
Yeah, that. How can you keep the truth from her? That's a no-no.
I already told Audrey all about myself and my family.
Huh? You're not serious.
I am. And Allison, I was planning on telling you about my family when I had the time, but I found out the kind of person you were and decided not to.
Oh, really?
If that's all, I gotta go. I'm meeting up with Audrey later.
Is that right? It's late in the afternoon already, which means you're going out to dinner, perhaps? Bet you're going to Dutch as usual, huh?
Yeah, of course. Audrey's pretty picky about such things.
For real? Have a girl pay your way on a date? How tacky. Gotta say it again, but I'm so glad I dropped such a penniless cheapskate.
I'm also glad that I dropped a gold digger like yourself.
Huh? Dropped me? Huh? You're pathetic.
Yeah, well, like I said, no more line messages other than work stuff. I really don't want any contact with you on a personal level.
Yeah. Excuse me, LOL. Hey, Mark, what's with that HR announcement today? Come on, pick up.
I thought I said no more line messages if it's not about work.
Answer me.
The announcement is what it is. In 5 years' time, I will take over the company. Until then, we'll be preparing for the transition.
Nobody told me you were the president's son.
Yeah, well, there was really no need to bring it up.
How could you not tell me?
You never thought it strange that I had the same last name as the president?
I did think maybe you were related, but after seeing that beat-up wreck, well, it's a pretty common name. Just thought it was a coincidence.
Oh, I get it. You didn't put two and two together because you figured I was a penniless creep.
Besides, is the company going to be okay with you at the helm? And with you and your family living in that horrendous place?
That place is not my home.
Huh?
We're currently living in a house my father built some time back.
What are you talking about? What is that junk house?
That's my great-grandfather's place. He was the first president of the company. Basically, it's my dad's old place. He's got a lot of memories there. Thought it'd be a waste to tear it down. You probably don't know this, but my hobby is making diorama landscapes. So I use the house as a sort of studio.
Huh? Hobby? A studio?
The day you followed me there, I was just working on a large diorama project, so I was staying over at that place every now and then.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. Why didn't you mention this when we were dating, or when we were talking about breaking up? All this time, I had no idea. Had the wrong impression of you.
So you're saying, if I had told you, you would not have broken up with me?
Yeah, of course. That's your problem. As a guy, you should have explained it all to me.
Excuse me.
Oh, well, seems like you feel a bit of remorse. So, I'll tell you what. I'll get back together with you.
Huh?
Huh? What kind of reaction is that? So happy, cat got your tongue?
I explained everything to you straight out. I said I was not interested in a girl that was after my money. I don't want to get married to someone with completely different values.
Come on, that was all just talk. A tit-for-tat exchange. You say different values, but that kind of thing goes out the window once you're married. Come on, stop being so stubborn. Let's make up. What do you say? The most important thing is how we feel about each other.
I already have a fiancé.
Huh?
You are aware that I'm going out with Audrey in HR, right?
Huh? You're still going out with her? I warned Audrey about you.
You marry that guy and you'll end up living in a beat-up shack with a penniless creep, LOL. Yeah, I heard. Wasn't that what you said?
Huh? Why?
Heard everything you said about me from Audrey.
Audrey never mentioned that you were the president's son. Didn't you keep it a secret from her too?
Didn't I say I told her everything about myself?
You said your family was not well off.
Why would I lie to someone I'm about to marry? Makes no sense. Audrey is my fiancé, and at the same time, she is a co-worker. So, we plan to make a proper company announcement in time. Until then, I asked everyone involved to keep it confidential.
Huh? So you're saying Audrey knew perfectly well that you were the president's son when I warned her?
Yep, that's right.
How could you? You tell her but keep it a secret from me?
I told her because she could be trusted. That's why.
So, I can't be trusted. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. You went ahead and let your feelings be known before I even got the chance to explain myself.
Huh?
You went out with me for the money, right? You saw me go into that old beat-up house, got into your head that I was a pauper, broke up with me right away. That about right? I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I don't like women who are after my money.
Well, Audrey may be the same. Ever thought of that? Oh, yeah. Did you know that she bought a new car the other day? Pretty nice timing, huh? Why would she do that unless she knew you'd take care of it? See? Audrey's the same. She's after your money.
She bought that with her own money.
Yeah, well, down the line, you'll end up paying the loan.
She said it'd cost about $15,000. Paid for it in cash, I heard.
Huh?
I offered to help her out, but she said buying something with your own money, money you worked hard for, there's meaning in that.
Huh? Is she nuts? If you're gonna pay for it, accept it. That's what I do.
Yeah, you think? I thought it was admirable. She's even saving up for our wedding.
What? Are you for real? Going Dutch in your wedding and your honeymoon?
Yeah, Audrey's like that.
I can never understand you guys.
Different values, I guess. So, getting back to your earlier point, us getting back together? 100% not gonna happen. Oh, yeah, I forgot. It was included in the HR announcement, but all company-related business from now on will be done through our corporate chat tool. So, I can finally block you.
Hold on a second.
Please refrain from using the chat tool for your own personal matters. I was transferred to a different section in order to prepare for the transition, and I no longer had direct contact with Allison anymore, but she disregarded my warning about using the company chat tool for personal matters right from day one. Messages were all negative comments about me, and she also sent countless barrage of messages to Audrey. But it immediately came to light as I was in close contact with the corporate compliance manager. Because of her repeated disregard for corporate compliance rules, she was eventually let go. I heard she got another job through relatives, but she was accused of stalking the young executive of the company and subsequently fired after 6 months. Her family member ostracized her for bringing shame to the family. After that, she had a hard time landing another job or meeting the man of her dreams. I heard she's currently living alone in a beat-up apartment somewhere.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.